Hey there, it's Carolina Moore with alwaysexpectmore.com and 30minutecrafts.com, and today we're doing block 4 of our Cricut Maker block of the week. This week's block is broken dishes. Ready? Let's get started. For the broken dishes block, we're using the fabrics we've marked as white and as yellow. We're going to go ahead and put those on the mat. Go ahead and rub those down. I always like to make sure my edges are in place. And the yellow, put it right on there. Now with this mat, I see I've been using this side a whole lot, so I'm actually going to turn it 180 degrees and use the other side. And this is going to give me more use out of my mat, because I can use either this side forward or this side forward. You can't, however, turn it 90 degrees and put it in, because it isn't an exactly square sized mat. Just go ahead and put that on. And then we're going to take it to the machine. First we have the white mat. I go ahead and press continue. It asks me to set the material. My material is cotton. It's going to make sure I have the pen, the rotary blade, and then I need to load my materials. I'm going to go ahead and put my pen in. I like that cap on the back so I don't lose it. Secure the pen in. I already have my rotary blade in, so I can go ahead and load up the fabric. Press that Cricut Go button. The cut's complete. Before I walk away from the machine, I always want to make sure that I take out that pen and put the cap back on so that it doesn't dry out. I like to keep my pen with the tools, and we can take all this over to the sewing machine and ironing board. It's been a little while since I've shown you removing the fabric from the mat, so I'm going to show you that now. First I peel away the extra fabric, and I'll be cutting off these little bits, like the kind of stringy bits later. And then I like to use this tool. It's a little kind of like praying mantis hands, and I like to go at an angle, which is super easy with these half square triangle pieces. If there are any threads that are easy to grab, I go ahead and lift those up. This has so much bias. Now I don't want to scrape this off. I want to just gently go underneath. Because if I scrape it, I'll actually scrape the mat and I'll be scraping that adhesive right off. And we don't want that to happen. So there are my half square triangle pieces on the yellow. Now, another way to remove these little bits off the mat is to use strong grip transfer tape. I find that sometimes pushing that strong grip transfer tape actually pushes the threads down even more, but you can go ahead and give it a try. I have had some luck with that. And now we'll go ahead and remove our white pieces. This is similar to a 4 patch, which is similar to what our 9 patch was at the very beginning, where this is one patch, this is one patch, this is one patch, this is one patch. But first we have to put the patches together. So we're going to put these two pieces together to make a square, these two to make a square, these two to make a square, and these two to make a square, which is where the term half square triangle comes from, because they're squares that are cut in half made out of 2 triangles. So let's go ahead and grab one, and we can bring it over to the sewing machine. Make sure that your edges along here are lined up. Remember in block 2 we talked about chain piecing? Well, we can chain piece here again as well. Put the two pieces together. Now I'm stitching this seam, so it doesn't matter if it's going this way or going this way, as long as I stitch the longest edge of the triangle. I'm going to go a couple stitches further, tuck this in. I'm going to repeat that process with the next two, and I'll have all 4 sets of half square triangles stitched together. There we go, all 4 stitched together. I want my needle up and the thread take up lever also in the up position before I finish. That way my machine will be ready for the next time I want to use it. To take these apart, you can cut these, or most sewing machines have a thread cutter either on the side or in this back corner. So I'll just cut apart these and I can clip off the extra threads, and I'm ready to press them. We press our half square triangles so that the seam allowance is going towards the dark. These are pretty much equally dark. I'm going to have my seam allowance go towards the yellow since I feel like it's a little bit darker. I press on the back and then again on the front. Make sure that your fabric isn't puckering over a little this way. That's actually going to skew your square and make it smaller. I'll repeat this for the second block. Now I'll do the same with the last two. Now I can lay out my broken dishes block. It doesn't matter if the pink is up or the yellow is up. I just need to make sure that I've got opposites touching at all times. So if I have the yellow up, then touching this pink, I want the yellow here and the yellow here. And the pink here. And that makes the broken dishes block. However, with 4 half square triangles, there are other fun blocks you could make if you want. If we turn them all just a little bit, we get a pinwheel block. And that's another fun block. So you can choose right now if you want to do the pinwheel block or the broken dishes block, because the next steps will be the same regardless. We're going to clip away this extra. These are our little dog ears, and we're just going to cut them with our scissors. And I'm going to reset this up to be our broken dishes block. Since I've got pink there, that means I must have yellow here. So there we are, our broken dishes block. We're going to stitch these two together and then these two together to make 2 rows, and then we'll stitch the 2 rows together to make our full block. So we're 3 seams away from finishing this guy up. I'll go ahead and put these 2 together, line everything up, and put it under the machine. Again, I can chain piece this one and the next one, so I'll put these 2 together. If you haven't watched block 2, the uneven 9 patch, that's where I talk about chain piecing. You'll want to go back and look at that one. Check this out. If I put this piece right here and this piece right here, I have that pinwheel. But like I said, I'm going to continue on with the broken dishes. I'm going to press each one towards the yellow. Now I'm going to do this last seam. I'm going to nest this seam and this seam. Because my seam allowance goes this way and then this way, I've got the bulk going in opposite directions, which means when I put them together, I'm actually going to be able to feel them come together here in the middle. Yep, there they are. I'm going to use that to line everything up and bring it over to the machine. Now I could feel that bottom seam allowance coming towards me as it hit these bumps on my machine. So I'm lifting up my presser foot. I'm going to tuck it back under there. I'm making sure that I would have my foot off the pedal because while I'm doing this, I absolutely don't want to accidentally hit that pedal and run over my finger. So I've tucked all this underneath. Going to line everything back up. Make sure those seams nest. Foot back on the pedal. And we're all set. If I would have let this bottom piece flip over, I would have all the bulk on one side, and that would keep this block from looking nice and from quilting well. So to press this last block, I actually pressed my seams in a counterclockwise fashion. Yours might be in a clockwise fashion, but that means that everything lays flat and I don't have a big bulge here in the center because this will actually pinwheel just like that. And here's the block, all finished on the front. And that's how easy it is to make our broken dishes block. Make sure that if you enjoyed this video, you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And as always, be sure that you're subscribed to this channel so you get all the updates every time I post a new block or video. Bye guys, see you next week.